Welcome to Dreamwood Rings. Today we take on a little bit of gold with koa wood. Stick around to see our take on these rings. We have two styles today. One is cut from a tube, a gold piece cut from tube that we'll have to shape. The other one we bought this way with the channel. So our little ring is 3.5 millimeters wide, and like I said, we have to shape this, and I don't show how we shape it. We used our metal lathe. The reason I'm not going to show it is I'm not a perfect on the metal lathe. I don't feel comfortable enough teaching you or showing you my process, as it may be incorrect, so I'm not going to show it. There's a lot of other great metal working YouTube channels that you should watch for. So once we cut our channel in our gold, what we use is actually a very thin piece of koa wood, and I cut a strip out of it that is the same width as our channel. And this allows us to save a lot of wood, as well as it's also pretty easy to do the inlay. So once we cut our strip, we dip it in our kettle, and it's all wet now. We can just press fit it into our little channel there, and then we just roll it all the way around. We do this for a lot of different ring styles. It's easiest to do this with very thin wood inlays rather than dealing with a full piece of wood. These little strips are very easy to work with. So we just roll it around, find the tight spots. Not all of this strip is equal, so some of it's thicker than others. So we find where it fits tight, take our little razor blade and cut it off the edge, and then press it in. And then that is it. So we just wait for that to dry, and then we will come back to this piece once it's all dry. And we'll move on to our channel ring, which I will use another method of inlay because the channel is thicker. It's easier this way. So from a square, I just make it a circle. It's just easier to work with it that way. We'll put it in our soft jaws. Oh, and I also saved the sawdust because, well, you will see coming up why we use the sawdust for. So, circle piece, we are going to bore it out. Not completely. We're only going to bore it out so that the inside hole will fit well enough onto one of the mandrels. Because then I'm going to show you, we'll use the wood lathe, or I'm sorry, the metal lathe, to shape it so that we get a perfect fit. It saves a lot of time sanding. So here we are on the metal lathe. What we want is just to make it so it fits perfectly into that channel. And again, it saves tons of time doing it this way versus sanding, and also it makes it all even and equal. First thing I'm doing is going to round it out as well. So we'll just go down, check the size, and then keep going until we get that perfect size. I've overdone it a few times, so I go just teeny bits amount at a time. I don't want to overdo it, otherwise I kind of have to restart, because then it will look bad to have all the gaps. Just moving a tiny bit at a time, and then we see it fits, so we'll bring it back to the jaws, and this is where we'll bore out the inside to then fit into our gold channel. We have to check the channel with our calipers. That way we know exactly how much to cut out the inside of the wood. And that little piece, we don't have to worry about it because we did not bore the hole out very big to begin with, and now that we are going to put it on the ring, it's just going to be cut out. perfect. It's a little tight, so I'm just gonna go in and out without adjusting it at all, and then that should give us a perfect fit. The other thing that I will do, and I do this for all rings, is I will round out the insides with some sandpaper. And the reason for that is so that it can fit closer to the metal. And most of the ring cores are not a straight 90 degree at the corners. So what rounding out this edge does is it can sit closer to it, and it always seems to fit a lot better when I round out these edges. I put our little notches in there with our bandsaw, and then I'll just take in the razor blade and a few taps to break one end of it, or both if you do, but this one just broke one side. So I'll just break it here. Make sure a dry fit, make sure it looks good, and then we will use a extra thick CA on this band. I also needed this to be a very tight fit because this gold band is only 1.8 millimeters from inside to outside, I think. So we don't have a ton of room to work with or a ton of room for mistakes. So just like that. This one is done with the inlay. We will set it aside and then go back to our wet wood. So now we saved the sawdust from earlier. I'm going to rub it in onto all these cracks. That way, when the glue comes through, we don't have any empty areas. The glue will mix in with the wood, and it all just looks a little bit better this way. And then this is a thin CA that we use on this piece so that it can soak into all of the crevices, and since the wood is already in the ring. With this being gold and not a ton of gold to work with, well, also you don't want to waste any gold, we're going to go very slow to get to the wood flush with the gold, and then we'll take it slightly below the gold edge with our corner carbide tip. And again, I don't want to hit the gold at all in any way, so I'm going very slow. We just want to take it in so that our fingernail, or that there's just a teeny little gap between the wood and the gold to give room for our finish. And as long as my fingernail has something to grab onto, then we are deep enough, or as deep as we can get in with this ring. Other rings such as our tungsten carbide have a way deeper channel, so it's easier to not mess up. And then we started doing this. I started using accelerator on the wood first and then adding the glue. This seems to dry the glue faster and with less air bubbles. So if you're going to start using our method of finish, you've seen in our other videos we've done glue first then accelerator. Try accelerator first then glue and see how that works for you. And this process is the same as us taking down the wood. Basically, we're going very slow because I do not want to hit the gold, but I do want to get all the finish off of the gold. And we're also not going to sand this, by the way. We're going to use the Zam polish. So we're going very slow with our carbide insert tool, which gives us a pretty decent finish on the CA. See, you can see here there's not really a ton of scratches or problems with this. I'm not going to sand it. From here, I'm taking it to the polisher. Reason is I don't want to sand the gold. We're switching our polishing pad to a soft metal pad. It's already black. I don't want to blacken my other one that I use for other rings. and any soft metals will turn your polishing wheel black. So we rub the ZAM on there, and then here we just polish it. Because we don't sand it, we will have to polish it a little bit more than if we did sand it, but the end result is the exact same. It's going to be a mirror-like finish with no macro scratches, and that ZAM is just, it's so nice. It's strong enough to polish the metal and the glue or the finish and leave both of them mirror-like finishes. And we don't show the other thinner ring. The process after the wood is in is the exact same. Then from the dirty wheel, we bring it to a clean wheel just to get that all off. And then we could put it into a little cleaner or hand wash it to make sure that it's all completely clean. And that's that. So here's our two pieces. We have a little 3mm and a little 6mm gold with koa wood. If y'all have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments below. We always appreciate a like and also a subscribe. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Check out all of our supplies at shopdreamwood.com. We continually add items, and we'll see y'all next time.